Welcome back, folks, to another installment of our picks and predictions just before the season starts for each division in the NFL. Today we're doing the NFC East. We're going to see who is going to top it, who is going to bottom it, and who is going to middle it. All right, stick around. Let's get into it. This team, the Giants, the plain-ass Joneses with a huge contract, Barkley free. I did enjoy watching Tommy Cutlets last year, a fun story to follow. Also, they have him behind Drew Lock right now, which I'm sure is a great move. Also, having Dan Drew and the Cutlet Man is a really bad QB room, so I'll be giving them 6-11 for this season. Dable, you should have just stayed in Buffalo as the offensive coordinator. Then, maybe you'd have gotten over the hump. Maybe they would have gotten over the hump. I'll never quite understand why coaches leave teams just on the edge of being able to make a Super Bowl as a big piece and then go to bad situations where there's struggle because duh, and then eventually they get fired. And sure, he didn't get fired yet, but I'm sure he will after this season. And maybe could have had a ring by now. Well, and I know the answer's money, but when people literally say they'll cut off fingers or nuts for a ring, but more money when you're already making a fuckload is enough to say, fuck it. I don't know. Pretty dumb if you ask me, but I'm also just an idiot with a microphone, so we're moving on. I do like they picked up Singletary. I've always been high on him. In Buffalo, he just didn't get used enough, and maybe Dable likes him because he had him in Buffalo too. I always liked Slayton as well, but I don't know if they're going to have a competitive, complete team here. Have fun being remembered as one of the worst periods ever for the Giants, Dable. But don't worry, you still have all your fingers and your nuts. So yes, 6-11. Next up, I have the Commanders, who will also go 6-11. But they will win in the tie-breaking, and neither them or the Giants will come close to the playoffs, so no one's going to care. Though positioning does matter for the next schedule, I have a video on the tie-breaking procedure if you feel so inclined to learn about it, but I'm not here to talk about ties. I'm here to throw shade on the Commanders. They did get rid of Dan Snyder, and I know it's old news at this point, but I still like that they did, and that man sucks. So good job, Washington. You suck slightly less than a few years ago. I have to level with you here. I look at their depth chart, and I don't know who these people are. Now, I don't pretend to care about the team anyways. I don't watch many of their games, so sure, I'm out of loop, but damn. Still going to have them above the Giants since we have been overly subjected to watch that god-awful team so much, so I'm just going to stick with 6-11, assume that they win with the tie-break and procedure, and we're going to move on so I don't put both feet in my mouth. Cowboys! I got them 10-7, and this is just another season for the Cowboys to throw away. I think they will do pretty good for the first 2/3 of the season, then fall apart at the end, as is tradition. I'm going to go with 10-7 this year for them, and I don't think that they're as good as last year. Last year they got 12 wins before falling apart. They got Zeke back, which I do think he's a good player, but he's aging. They currently have Cook at number 3, and I think Cook is better than Zeke. Dak is better than many give credit to. Unless you're a Cowboys fan, then you give him too much credit. But I think McCarthy seems to not have a great fit at getting the team over the hump in the playoffs. Dak will make sure to keep them in a winning record for now, and that CeeDee Lamb will keep getting yards. But this team, year after year, acts all in and then wind up being aggressively mid. Just so mid. And so many contracts are hitting them now. 10-7, make playoffs, lose wild card. Now we have the darling of the NFC West, rising all the way to the Super Bowl just a couple years ago, to winning the division again and falling apart just like them boys did. I do think this team is better than the boys. I think Hurts is overall better quarterback than Dak. A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Blankenship, Slay JR. This team has a pretty good roster here, guys. Even a solid kicker in Eliot. I'm going with the same record as last year, 14-3, take the number 1 spot, though they did fall apart last year. I think they'll do better this year with a more balanced at least. Could they go to the Super Bowl? Sure. Will they go to the championship game? I would argue likely. And I would be shocked if they didn't make it to at least the divisional round. And again, for the regular season, I have them at 14-3 record. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my dumb takes on how the next 5 months will turn out. I'm sure nothing will change at all in a couple weeks to throw a wrench in anything I said. And I'm sure that all my takes are perfect anyways. So, thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe. Okay, bye!